Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The next few slides are pertaining your practicals. Normally, you would have an opportunity to try the activities out in the laboratory, but due to these unfortunate circumstances, you were only supplied with practical videos. Okay, however, this is what I've obtained from the practical guides. Okay, more importantly are the questions, okay, at the end of each exercise. Okay, I'm not emphasizing on the steps, okay, and also the procedures, okay, to carry out the exercises. Okay, this you can obtain from the practical guide. Okay, just focus on the questions that follow each of the exercises. Yeah, and apology for the quality of the slides. I've actually just changed the form from PDF into PowerPoint, so the quality might be compensated, nah? But anyway, I believe all of you have this. Okay, again, we are not stressing out into each step. Okay, since you have I believe you have watched the videos, okay, and basically you know what to do, but it's just to get you with the flow of what was going to happen had you carry out exercises in the laboratory. Okay, so this one is the first page of the HNL PRC practical exercises. No? These are the objectives, as you can see, kan? Okay, and here it's showing the what hematocrit, the machine to measure hematocrit level look like, or a centrifuge. No? Okay, so yang besar ni is a centrifuge. Okay, you have this in the MPG. Allah, okay, tak apalah, tersasar sikit. Okay, lepas tu this is just the cover lah. Okay, cover dia. Ini adalah I think looks like a tongue lah. Just a pick to take out the tubes. Okay, and these are the capillary tubes. Okay, could be heparinized or non-heparinized. Depends ya, if you want the blood to coagulate or not coagulate. Okay, ini adalah the pad where you embed the tube after you have withdraw the blood lah. Okay, so you can have a look at the picture also in the practical guide. Okay, we go to the next slide. Sorry, yeah. Okay, so the for first activity, you were actually asked to test your blood group lah, to do blood typing kan. Okay, these are basically the figure atas ni adalah lancet lah. Lancet ni has different sizes kan. When you go to the laboratory, you must know which size you want to use to prick your finger lah. If it's just blood test, okay, these are the various sizes. So you prick normally not your own finger, you prick your friends one of their fingers lah. And then using the capillary tube to you suck atau withdraw blood. Okay, withdraw blood with the using the capillary motion. Means you must control the capillary tu. Okay, control the capillary so that the blood too would fill in nicely into the tube without air bubbles. Okay, so after withdrawing some bloods only kan, and after normally filling in two-third of the capillary tube with blood. Okay. Sorry, this is what the capillary tube looks like. It's made of glass, kan? It's not long. It's about sejengkal macam tu sajalah. Okay, it's very thin, kan? Just nice to fit into a centrifuge je. Okay, right. Next slide. Okay, after withdrawing the blood, filling in two-third of the capillary tube, air bubble free. Okay, you would embed it atau cucuk dia saja on the pad tu kan. So the function of this pad is to seal the capillary tube tu lah before you spin the tube in the centrifuge. Okay, so you seal it nicely kan, and then you're going to centrifuge. Okay, so what happens? Okay, you put this in a centrifuge. Okay, susun dia banyak-banyak. Okay, fill in this one, and then must be the second one must be on the opposite direction, because centrifuge it rotates, kan. Rotation is very fast, okay, sometimes thousands per minute, kan. So you need to balance the location of the tubes within the machine itself, okay. So susun elok-elok, okay. How you susun tu, the direction, the instruction is in the practical guide, okay. And then you spin also. Rotation normally 40 to 100 RPM we adjust, kan, per minute, for 10 minutes also, I think 4 to 10 minutes, I don't remember exactly. But okay, it's just a machine. You set, then you run, press start, and when it's done, you would see dekat bawah ni, okay, a vial. The tube tu is separated into two distinguished compartment with different colors, okay. On top there would be plasma, the bottom here would be your packed cell, okay, or RBC or hematocrit lah, okay. So when I say hematocrit, I'm referring to the percentage of red blood cells, okay, comparing to the other blood cell components, okay. So hematocrit is the percentage of RBC, okay, compared to the other blood components, or a ratio of RBC to the other blood cells. So that's hematocrit, okay, referring given in a percentage, okay. Other normal values of hematocrit for male and female, kan, a healthy adult. So that's you can find out from textbooks, huh? But when I say RBC, it's RBC, just RBC lah. It's not in comparison to other blood cell components lah. Okay, right. So you have this tube, okay, nicely separated. You know, plasma should consist of 50 to 55%, kan, slightly more than your PCV ini dekat bawah, kan, okay. And the middle here, sometimes you can see the buffer ataupun the leukocytes and platelet, kan. Sometimes it's not very clear. Okay, so we look at next slide. Okay, you would put the hematocrit, the capillary tube tu on the hematocrit reader. Okay, and how to read this exactly? Again, it's in the follow the instruction in the guidebook, kan. Okay, so which part should be at the bottom? Which part should be at the top? Okay, jangan letak terbalik, right? PCV tu atau the coloured part should be at the bottom, kan? Non-coloured part should be, plasma should be at the top. Once you letak terbalik je, you'll get wrong reading, kan? And then principally you should slide, kan? Okay, ni ada dia punya hematocrit reader ni. The left dia macam ada ruler. It's like a ruler that you can slide, kan? This is movable. The inverted T ni is movable from the left to the right, okay. So you arrange nicely. How to arrange? You refer in the practical guide, and then you slide this ruler ni, okay, towards the right, from the left to the right, not right to the left. Okay, sometimes students confused. Okay, bila kita tanya dia as an active OSP, for example, ke they do it wrongly. Okay, because they did not do the activities, kan, during the practical PRC. So slide from the left to the right. Okay, when you need to stop, okay, there's a point that you need to stop sliding. Okay, exactly know when to stop. Okay, please refer in the practical guide instructions. And so when you have stopped, right, principally you should be able to read the level of your hematocrit. Okay, in any, what is your hematocrit level? Okay, the reading you would know, you would get, okay, when you stop sliding. And B, using a ruler, measure your hematocrit. What is the reading? Okay, so maybe in A ni is the normal level for a healthy adult. Okay, and in B, it was asking for you to compare your reading dengan normal healthy punya reading. So whether it's in range or not, kan? Okay, in C, dia tanya compare your reading your B and A. So is your hematocrit level to normal or not? Okay, so basically after doing this activity ni, okay, you should be able to know whether your hematocrit level is normal, whether normal or not. If it's not, if it's too low, okay, what could be the consequences? Okay, students kan maybe haven't had breakfast yet ke, kan? Whether friends tu were fasting that day ke, kan? Whether they were dehydrated, for example, ke, kan? Before going into some serious other symptoms lah. Okay. Alright, so for B, exercise B ni is to determine the type of blood kan. Okay, again, these instructions ni are in the guidebook. Okay, so basically the objective is to know or to observe your own type of blood, whether you are A, B, AB or O kan. Okay, so next slide. Okay, sama, you would prick your friend's finger and withdraw the blood into the and tak payah withdraw into capillary tube lah this time, because you're not going to use centrifuge kan. Okay, so after you prick the finger je, you would drop, okay, do small drop, okay, on the known antibodies, okay, which are already prepared beforehand, okay, on a slide ataupun on a glass plate like this kan. But in the laboratory, this is principally I'm zooming it, okay, so that you know kan. So this is looks like RBC drop into prepared antibodies, okay, anti-A, anti-B for example kan. Okay. And then using a toothpick, okay, you you kacau-kacau sikit kat atas kan. Okay, so to observe agglutination, you apply some motion kan, so that two of them mix lah. Two of them meaning they drop blood with the antibody to mix. Okay, only through mixing je you will be able to observe agglutination je. Kalau biarkan saja might be taking time or might not react lah. Okay, this is just to help to assist je in observing agglutination. Okay, so sometimes you would get the result straight away, sometimes longer time kan. Okay, so depends. Okay, we go to the next slide. Okay, but in the laboratory, okay, what you have missed actually, because you didn't have chance to do this practical on your own kan, is the plate. Ni the big plate ni kan. Okay, person 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think ada 8 rows. Okay, something that I have shown to you in the lecture to the plate is big. Okay, suitable for grouping kan. Okay, and then grouping to your group lah. Group tu maybe ada 6-7 person kan. Okay, so this is for laboratory preparation lah. Big plate. Okay, just now tu is a slide. Slide tu is just kecil saja kan. So this one is suitable for more people. Okay, and then you would have this is also in the practical guide punya book. So you could have a look lah. So the first few columns on the left ni is columns for you to prepare antibodies. Okay, in other words, first few columns on the left ni is to do forward typing. Okay, forward is that you put RBC into antibodies kan, and then observe agglutination. Okay, so you put all anti-A, anti-B, anti-AB, anti-D. Okay, this is special to anti-D ni is special to determine rhesus, whether it's positive or negative kan. Okay, followed by the other rows on the right ni. Okay, so yang A cell, B cell ni, O cell ni are specific for reverse typing. Okay, reverse typing is the other way around. Don't forget the concept, yeah. Meaning you have to drop prepared RBC, okay, on the plates first, okay, and then only you drop the unknown plasma containing antibodies onto the columns ni on the right ni. Okay, again the concept tu you must be clear lah. If it's reverse typing, okay, it is antibody into antigen. If it's forward typing, it is antigen into antibodies. Okay, as long as you remember the concept correctly, okay, doesn't matter whether it's a small slide, okay, or a big plate like this, you should be able to answer. Okay, and then observe agglutination in both, right? Agglutination in both. So when you've done this, okay, so this table also is provided in the practical guidebook, I think. Okay, and then just fill in what is the reaction. Okay, this is supposedly kan, blood group. If you are A, would your RBC clump in antibody? Would your antigen clump in with anti-B antibody? So which one can? So you fill in this table. Okay, This is principally that all should know lah kan. Okay, and then after doing the exercise tu, okay, doing exercise in the laboratory, you should be able to determine your blood group. Okay, this one table in the middle ni is the answer after you have done the plating ni. Okay, the blood typing ni. Tapi malangnya tak dapat cuba. Okay, so your fingers are all safe lah this year ya. Tak ada sesiapa yang kena cocok dengan kawan-kawan. Kan? Sometimes kawan-kawan tu pula saja je nak usik. Dia sengaja je cocok lancet tu kuat kan. Okay, but anyway, some of the perangai dalam laboratory lah masing-masing kan. Okay, but the plate ni is to answer this, but you have missed it this year. But anyway, I hope that you can get some pictures lah of the how to carry out the typing. Had you had the chance to go into the laboratory. Okay, next slide. Okay, exercise 3. Okay, ni HNL ni ada for physiology ada 4 exercises. Number 1 is the measurement of hematocrit. Tadi hematocrit reader tu. Secondly is the blood typing, determining your blood group. Exercise number 3 is the bleeding time to find out how long, okay, do you take, okay, for your bleeding to stop kan, berapa lama masa diambil untuk you punya darah tu berhenti mengalir contohnya. Okay, so you carry out this as per instruction ni, ikut je semua. Okay, and then dekat bawah ni sorry, kita tengok too small kan, I try lah ya. Kita tengok okay, kita tengok nombor 1 dulu kan. It's all in the practical guide, jangan risau-risau. Okay, so there are 2 ways for you to do this, to measure bleeding time, whether you could use your finger atau you could use the back of the earlobe. Mana-mana satu saja, siapa yang suka adventure tu. Again, because you do it to your friends kan, it's always the fun comes from there lah. Okay, and dia pun cucuk-cucuk kawan dia punya belakang tu kan. Okay, but there are 2 places normally. Okay, so the 2 areas ni must be cleansed lah or sterilized dulu before you start the activities. That's instruction number 1. Okay, number 2, make a deep puncture with a sterile lancet. Okay, and you puncture, okay, you poke lah with the lancet, and you should be able to see the blood flow lah freely. Okay, and then number 3, as the blood appears, note the time. The moment you see the blood, okay, start coming out. Okay, the moment you see the blood at the tip of the finger ni, you note the time. Okay, and then step number 4 ni, blot the blood with a piece of filter paper every 30 seconds. Okay, principally, physiologically, semasa the moment you see tu is the most. Okay, and after 30 seconds, the blot tu will diminish in terms of this punya size and dia punya colours. That means that the blood is starting to stop kan, stop coming out kan. That means the bleeding process tu has started lah. Okay, so do not touch the surface of the fingertip or the earlobe, okay, with the filter paper. That means do not apply anything, any pressure that could stop the blood, okay, the bleeding, okay, deliberately, dengan apa-apa ada pressure yang sengaja untuk menghentikan darah tu mengalir. So because we want to determine the bleeding time, okay, for each person kan. So number 5, when the bleeding stops, note the time. So note the time tu from the moment you see the blood, okay, and every 30 seconds until no more blood is seen, okay, whether it's on the fingertip ataupun dekat belakang cuping. Okay, step 6 also dia dah bagi the normal bleeding time is between berapa minit ke berapa minit. So observe yours, okay, if you were in the lab lah, but you're not. Okay, it should be between 2 and 5. Okay, kalau more than 5, that means apa, right? What could be the indication? Okay, adakah too much anticoagulant atau lack of anticoagulant kan? Both could be the factors. Okay, you must be able to relate in the event of prolonged bleeding time kan. Okay, so number 7, record the bleeding time. So that's done. Okay, and then exercise terakhir sekali adalah coagulation time. That means berapa lama masa diambil untuk blood you coagulate. Okay, untuk blood you coagulate, right? So coagulation time is the time required for the blood to clot, and the test is usually run in the bleeding time test. Okay, so again, clean the fingertip, okay, and step, not step lah, okay, prick. So maybe prick with a sterile lancet. Okay, note the time as the blood appears, okay. And then you need a tube for this, kan. Macam step pertama tadi, you need a capillary tube, okay. Prick finger with a sterile lancet, and then you withdraw blood up using a capillary motion. No air bubbles in between, kan, until 2/3. Okay, dah dapat tube tu fill with 2/3 fill with blood. Okay, and then you take, kawan pun dah settle lah, kan. Okay, and then what you do is that you need to break. Okay, step number 3 ni, in exercise D ni, kan. Break off a small piece of the tube every 30 seconds. Okay, so tube tu panjang ni. So every 30 seconds you akan patahkan dia. So you mula patah dari kiri sedikit. Mungkin half inch begitu, kan. Okay. Patah tu bukan patah macam patah terus, kan. So break off, if we see instruction number 3, break off a small piece of the tube every 30 seconds and carefully look for the presence of fibrin threads. So you patah dia slowly. It's a glass, thin glass, okay. You can easily break it, okay. But so break it with care because we want to observe the formation of fibrin threads, okay, in the capillary tubes. So you patah perlahan and then you observe formation of fibrin threads. So ini dua permukaan yang dia dah patahkan. Di tengah-tengah tu you should be able to see thin formation of threads. And that means the blood tu has started to coagulate. That's what you want to observe, kan? Okay. So step number 5, normal coagulation time is also given here. Okay, should be between 4 and 7 minutes. Okay, and record your own coagulation time, okay, and compare the results with others. Again, coagulation time ni will give you information and how fast, okay, your bleeding stops via formation of thread, fibrin thread, kan. Hemostasis punya konsep, okay, kena ingat semula. Okay, hemostasis, we ada few important key players. Who are the key players? Okay, revise again, okay, for a coagulation or hemostasis to take place, kan, bleeding stoppage to take place. Okay, ada coagulation factors. What are they? In the event of lacking or of any of these factors, coagulation time could be affected. Okay, so we look at next slide. Okay, this is the filter paper lah. Filter paper. If you were in a laboratory doing this activity, okay, you would label this filter paper ni with timings, kan. So, 30 seconds, okay, 60 seconds, 90 seconds, and throughout lah. So that every 30 seconds kan, you can blot dekat sini contohnya, kan. Dekat sini nanti, kan, you can observe the formation of blood, kan, daripada first 30 seconds until when it's purely stops, kan. So this is another way of blotting your finger. The same you do untuk telinga lah. Okay, filter paper with a labeled time every 30 seconds, and you just blot saja the paper tu at the earlobe, okay, and observe bleeding time. Okay, so we look at the next slide. Sama lah, okay, this is sama. So exercise 3 and D, okay, it's the same formation. Okay. Okay, this is the fibrin thread I've mentioned. Okay, say this is the capillary tube. Okay, filled in with blood. This is untuk exercise D tadi, ya. The coagulation time. Every 30 seconds, you akan patahkan sikit. Okay, ini dia terus patah dua saja, just to show you the formation of fibrin thread. But if you were in a laboratory, in MPG, you should break it from the little bit of from the left ni. Okay, so that daripada kiri, you break towards the right. Easy for you lah, kan. Okay, so that's what I meant by the formation of fibrin thread. When you break up the capillary tube, you should be able to observe the formation of fibrin thread in the middle. That means the blood is coagulating. Okay, just some information for you lah. Okay, And then finally, these questions are also given to you in the practical book. Please have an attempt. Okay, it's important concepts kat sini kan. Pertamanya, it's very small. I'll try to read. You also have this. Okay, please try on your own. A man with multiple pelvic fractures had moderate internal hemorrhage. His blood group is O negative. Internal hemorrhage, we know that this incident involves loss of blood at some point, hemorrhage kan. His blood group is O negative. Okay, O negative here means O is universal donor. Negative means he can only receive from. Okay, you answer that. Okay. And then discuss the consequences of this hemorrhage on his hematocrit and hemoglobin concentration. Okay. What is the importance of knowing his blood group? Okay, he had blood loss, therefore what would you expect? Okay, to his hematocrit and hemoglobin concentration should be. So you should start answering by writing down about hemorrhage lah. Okay, hemorrhage followed by reduce blood loss contohnya kan. Okay, so due to blood loss, therefore reduce apa lagi? Right, teruskan. Okay, RBC, hematocrit dengan hemoglobin concentration. Kalau nak sambung juga terus kepada what would happen to dia punya oxygen carrying capacity juga kan. So that's important concept when relating hemorrhage and hemoglobin concentration kan. Okay, so the importance of knowing his blood group. Why do we need to know his blood group? Okay, because we do not want to have transfusion mismatch kan. Okay, contoh. So you must know the concept ya. Okay, that's why we want to know his blood group and to avoid transfusion mismatch. Okay. Lepas tu lagi keduanya, an O rhesus negative woman, okay, married to an AB rhesus positive man. Okay, what possible clinical problem might arise during pregnancy? Okay, O rhesus negative woman kahwin dengan AB rhesus positive. Okay, so agak-agaknya the anak tu apa kan? You do the Punnett square first and find out the genotype possibilities dahulu kan? Whether, and then only you know whether the problem in the pregnancy would arise or not. Okay, so always remember to do Punnett square. Okay, so discuss number 3, discuss hematocrit in the following condition. Okay, hematocrit level following severe acute diarrhea. Okay, diarrhea, acute diarrhea. What would happen if you had acute diarrhea? What would happen to your what is lost actually during acute diarrhea ni? Okay, water ke, okay, fluid ke, right? What would be your plasma concentration kan? Apa lagi? You know plasma is the most abundant kan, the highest. 55% kan compared to the other blood components kan. Lagi diarrhea, what is lost? What else is lost? If you talk about losing fluid, you talk about losing plasma, jangan lupa about losing proteins kan. Proteins, albumin, globulin, fibrinogen, key players of protein in the plasma. Okay. Lagi acute diarrhea, apa lagi akan hilang? Okay, cell fluid, basically kan, water kan, diarrhea kan, plasma contohnya. Okay, so what would happen to hematocrit level then kan? Okay, again remember I mentioned hematocrit is the ratio between RBC and the other blood cells. Okay, so what would happen to hematocrit level? Okay, hematocrit, it means RBC in comparison to the other blood cells. So would it increase or decrease? Okay, jawab. Right, and B also following severe sweating without drinking. Again, sama lah, in sweating when you sweat. And then no replenishment, okay, because it's not drinking water. Maybe playing football during fasting, kan. So sweating, you losing apa? What is lost in sweat? What are the components of sweat? Nah, dah belajar in year 1 kan. Okay, basically apa? Water lagi, salt, sugar, urea, ammonia contohnya kan. Okay, so severe sweating, you're losing. Okay, what is, you all know dia apa ni, fluid, type of fluid that is lost during sweating. Okay, now without replenishment, okay, not drinking anymore kan. Okay, so again, what would you think happened to his to this person, hematocrit level? Hematocrit again, the percentage of RBC in comparison to the other blood cells. So jawab, make sure you understand the concepts dahulu kan. It's not so much about asking questions saja kan. It's important for you to understand the concept and apply the concept when answering questions. Okay, so this is the final slide. Okay, whoever needs clarification, please contact me. If you do not have this practical guide, the instructions are not clear within practical book, I can also share this with you. Okay, with that, thank you very much for your attention.